Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Super excited about today's topic. We are going to talk about how to stay hungry and keep going. And in my 35 years in the free enterprise space, I must say to you that unless you have the hunger for something, you're not going to stay in the game for a long time. But I can also tell you, today I'm going to be referencing a book called Choose Your Enemies Wisely. And this book, what you and I are going to be learning together, is going to really take you from where you are right now to the next level. I've read a lot of books, but this is not going to be one of those books that you're just going to read. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to be studying this book. You're going to be living this book, because once you start, you cannot put this book down. Now, let me begin by saying that anybody can start a fight, but Patrick Bet-David knows how to win. He's winning big time because he has chosen his enemies wisely. Stay tuned. One of the things that I'll be talking about from this book is for you to understand that there is something powerful in reading. Mark Twain says something that is worth mentioning here. It says, the person who does not read has no advantage over the person who cannot read. Let me repeat it again. The person who does not read has no advantage over the person who cannot read. So reading is very powerful. I've already mentioned a bit about my background, so you need to go back and watch some of my intro video to understand how far I have come. I was not a reader. Not on purpose, but I did not have access to books. But today you are going to learn from this amazing entrepreneur, Patrick Bet-David. Choose your enemies wisely. This is so important because for you to get going, you need a powerful why. Patrick Bet-David gave different illustrations from the beginning of this book, and it's interesting how he used two characters and their stories to show how dynamic and how complex things can be when you are one-sided minded individual. Why? Because he used these two characters in the book and he illustrated a very key point where we need both emotional way of doing things and logical way of doing things. This book is so powerful, and I'm recommending this to every member of my team. But there is a part that I believe I need to drive home, and this is the part about the business planning that sometimes people ignore. Very, very critical, because I have actually worked with several people, over the years. When you have thousands of people in your organization and you have some that will come to you and say, man, I'm going to make a fortune. I could resonate, because when I was reading Patrick's book, somebody came to mind and he was so good in telling you how we're going to make a fortune. But if you ask him, how are you going to make a fortune? He has no idea. Now you understand why I'm so grateful that Patrick has broken things down in a way. And there was, one particular page, page 8 in his book, he talked about 6 ways people treat their business plan. And I'm not going to go through all 6, but number 6 is one that I really like. He pointed out that when your business plan is fueled by an enemy and combining emotion and logic, now you got a winning formula. Once you understand Patrick's journey, how far he's come, and I've already mentioned he's winning big because he is fueled by this enemy that he has identified. Now, you may not have the same situation, but I can tell you, I can relate to Patrick's story. Not exactly, but let me tell you something. Here's a little story that I need to share, and then we'll come back to this book because you remember, this is about learning. And if I can share some light and you can benefit from it, then that would be very good. So, my last job, I worked for a company from 1987 to 1999. And I was broke most of the time, so I would go to the office and ask for salary advance before payday. And this was going on for years, and my boss got fed up, and I received a plaque from my boss. And on the plaque, it was written, "The difficult age has come and lit. I am too tired to work and too poor to quit." At first, when I received this plaque, it did not dawn on me that I was being insulted. I thought I was receiving a plaque for an achievement. That's when I realized I need to really change the course. That became the fuel for me. I started finding the real reason why I want to do something. But what Patrick is teaching us in this book is the how part. And he has given us 12 building blocks that once you get your hands on this book and you start going through the 12 building blocks, you cannot help it but to have one of the finest, if not the finest, business plan that is going to help you as an entrepreneur. Again, I cannot overemphasize this. You need to get a copy of this book. Choose your enemy wisely. You see, in my personal book, I reference the fact that, and this has been used many, many times, so I'm not the first person using this, that fortunately I'm from Africa, so I have witnessed this battlefield where a gazelle and lion must find a way to run either to or from. And I call that an emotional reason to run. In other words, what is your emotional reason that gets you out of bed every morning? And again, when I look at the gazelle and the lion, they have this emotional reason. If you've never been on a safari before, when you do get a chance, go. Because when you visit somewhere in Africa, Kenya, South Africa, wherever, Tanzania, and you go on a safari, you see that on a daily basis, a gazelle must run away from the lion. But on a daily basis, the lion must also run after a gazelle. A very simple reason. Both of these animals have an emotional reason to run. If the gazelle does not outrun the lion, the gazelle is going to be dead, becomes a meal. If the lion does not outrun the gazelle, the lion will end up going hungry. Well, to the gazelle, the lion is its own enemy. Now, to the lion, if he cannot eat, that gazelle is an enemy. Patrick is helping you and I to identify our enemies, but he did not leave us there. Here's a beautiful quote. I'm going to really read this. This is so powerful. This quote is going to help us to really understand this. And, in the introduction, it says, "A wise man gets more use from his enemies than a fool from his friends." Wow. A wise man gets more use from his enemies than a fool from his friends. And this is from Baltasar Gracian. And this is a 17th century Spanish philosopher. Wow. Sometimes it takes an enemy like a creditor who is constantly calling you or sending you those nasty letters. I used to receive them. I used to receive phone calls. But the same nasty letters are the same things that fueled me to help me to get my act together and go to work. And because of this quote, a wise man gets more use from his enemies than a fool from his friends, I got a lot from these enemies and it has set me free. That is the reason why I was able to fire my boss and hire myself. And as we dig deep into this, you and I are going to really benefit from what Patrick has given us. Let me read something else to you that is so powerful. This is actually in chapter 1, this quote, page 3. It says, "The general who wins the battle makes many calculations in his temple before the battle is fought. The general who loses makes but few calculations beforehand." And this is from Sun Tzu. What Patrick is teaching us is the need to prepare. And by preparation, I'm paraphrasing this, is by going through those building blocks which you and I are going to really benefit from. So I hope you are beginning to understand the value of reading books, but more so, good books. This book is going to prepare you and become the real business plan handbook that is going to save you years of misery. See you on the next series, and I hope your day is going well. Stay blessed. You need to take the time to get a copy for yourself, because as much as I am excited about this book, there's absolutely no way I can unpack everything that is in this book. Even if I have 100 hours, you need to dig into this and get a lot of the information yourself.